Okay, guys, it's Josh with Theological here. Right on time, about a minute late. Let me add some tools here. I don't see my chat for some reason. It's weird. Chat, there we go. Okay, let me set up. If you're new to the channel, my name is Josh. I am an inker. I call it Inkology. I wouldn't say I'm just an inker though. I am an artist that does all kinds of different types of art that you can enjoy. Sorry. I also sneeze a lot on this channel. It's part of like my quirk, you know, quirk. You know, everyone needs a good sneeze sometimes. So if you ever hear the sound go off for a second, don't think it's a problem with your phone. It's a problem with me sneezing and needing to mute you guys. Whew. Talk about rough. Okay, let me put on this stuff. Yuko, thank you for blessing me. My nose is just going haywire. Literally, I'm not even joking. I was fine. I was in this whole room working and doing stuff. I wasn't sneezing, doing anything. The moment I sit at this desk, it's like I'm compiled with congestion and sneezing. It's got to be something. I'm allergic to glass. I'm allergic to paper. I must be allergic to something. The mic, the camera lens, one of the things. One day we'll figure it out. But until then, I'm your sneezing artist, Joshua Lamb. Please like and subscribe to the channel if you want more sneezes like this. How's your day, Yuko? Anything new? How's babysitting? You know, how's working on art? Anything cool? Let me get the quality up a little bit for this. That's why. It's only at 720. I need a 1080. I'm on Wi-Fi, baby. Daniel Chu. Yeah, DC versus Marvel. Most people, you know, don't know this. I mean, some people do. Where you been, Daniel? How's life? What's new? How's the kids? All's well? Anyways, whew. What's up, TF? What's up? Oh, you babysat yesterday, huh? That's rough, but babysitting is like something I don't think I can do anymore. Like I used to teach children in Korea, you know, ages from like literally a toddler. They couldn't even speak goo goo gaga, and they wanted me to teach them English, to all the way up to college and professor level. And kids were the most fun, but they were also exhausting. I can only work with them for like 2-hour stints of time before I was burnt out. Good money though. It's like $35 to $40 an hour for working with little kids though. It's usually just high-fiving, lots of snot being thrown at you, and you know, chaos, but getting punched in the balls a lot. It's probably why I can't have kids, because they punch me so hard. It's brutal. You have to eat dinner. Hey, all right, man. It's good to see you, Daniel. Go do what you got to do. I'm glad to have you. All right, so the commission, we're working on it again. Today's a different. We're doing perspective for artists. Snot, yes, snot. I had a funny story. This still haunts me in my. Yeah, punch me right in the balls, right in my child making balloons. I had this one little boy. We went on this field trip and like we're eating cookies and they're all like everywhere. And one little boy, so I'm sitting beside him, just watching him kind of break open his little breakfast thing. And he has this little cookie, chocolate chip cookie, and he's eating it. And then he goes to pick his boogers. I'm like, oh, cute, boogers, adorable. And then he yanks it out, right? But then he kind of flicks it. But I don't really notice if it actually gets off his finger or not. But then he immediately goes and reaches for another cookie. I'm like, ooh, gross. And then he goes. And he looks at me, and I look at him, and there's like this split moment where we just have this strange interaction. I'm like, what are you doing with that cookie? And it's in my mouth. The cookie's already in my mouth. He shoves it in my mouth. And he looks at me with these adorable Asian Korean eyes with like, do you like the cookie? Tell me you like the cookie. And I'm just sitting here chewing on this cookie going, yeah, I like the cookie, but there's an extra texture in here that I don't really fancy. Most likely it's your boogers. Um, and yeah, as a teacher, you go through a lot of stuff. But I love my kids either way. As gross as they can be, they're just the funniest characters in life. I think children are amazing. Yeah, sharing is caring. Until you get extra protein you don't need. Yeah, all is all is well. I miss those kids. I cried at their graduation because I was only teaching them for 2 years, and then in those 2 years they were the best kids I've ever taught. They would just always come up to you and be like, "I love you, teacher," and they give you hugs and they just like give you kisses on the cheek. And these are like 2 to 4-year-olds, like the perfect age for just being sweet. And I had to be like, "I'll no longer be your teacher. You've graduated to whatever elementary you're going to, whatever it is." Sound like a Whitney Houston song. R.I.P. Rip. Whitney Houston. I love Whitney. Okay, let's get into it. So you can see I've added a few things here. Is this in focus? Okay, now it is. So we've got some city stuff going on down here. I've added the city. I'm using a reference of... I wish I could show you. I don't know where it's at. Actually, it's on my computer. I can't show you. Darn it. I looked on the internet for India. Old City, Mumbai, I think it was. And there was all these photos. So I'm taking one of these photos that I saw and I'm kind of manipulating it a little bit. I'm taking a lot of its structure and perspective to build up because I don't want to build news perspective. But I'm also changing some of the assets. I'm adding some of the same assets because it gives the whole India vibe, but I'm adding new things like these like awnings and clothings and stuff. Changing a few things to give it a little bit more of an India vibe. Might do some graffiti on the walls and stuff, so. I love city stuff except the crime. For here, I'm going to go with a lot of people on the ground to kind of fill in the bottom here, and some cars and tuk-tuks, not tuk-tuks, but those like kind of tuk-tuk vibe and vehicles. I had to find out what vehicles they actually drive there. But yeah, so here I have some dimensions, and where I got my lessons from, actually some of them recently, a gentleman who knows my wife, and sorry about being late because my wife was actually putting on a live stream of herself, her first live stream. She is a cook, a very good cook, and an explorer. So she travels a lot around the world. And so she's got all these really cool, fun recipe ideas. And she's been doing a food video, like YouTube, for, I don't know, years and years. But really hasn't been persistent about it. So recently she's just like, I want to do live stream. So I've encouraged her, but we had to move all the camera stuff and the microphones and the computer and everything over to the kitchen. And that's a pain in the butt because kitchen setup, you have to be careful because everything will light on fire. But yeah, it's called Charlotte Takes a Bite. And if you ever get bored and you want to check out that stuff and you like food, Charlotte Takes a Bite is a great place to do it. I highly recommend it. She's very fun, very sweet. Yeah. So then I was worried about getting online right on time. Anyway, so I got this book here that she got from a friend at a class. I don't remember what the class was, but it gives an idea of perspective. And it gives examples, right? So if I wanted to build something like this, I would build out the structure here, kind of the figure, and then know my dimensions and stuff through perspective, like using math in a sense. I'm not the best at this kind of stuff. I really am not. Actually, I'm probably the worst. But it's kind of okay. It's kind of okay because I get the main basis of it, and by going to a point and then building off the point, And then you can use angles where they intersect to build off other points. Where's this stuff at? I'm trying to find a good example. Yeah. So, for example, if you have like a guy here falling backwards, and if you just draw lines that go back, straight back from there, using a ruler, and then going straight back from there, you have intersecting points that will give you, hey Frosty, what's up? What's up? Yeah, she did bake baklava. You're right, Yuko. She's a very sweet lady, extremely sweet. Sweetest person I know, actually. And that's probably why I married her. Too sweet. I got her, though. Tricked her. Married a fool like me. Artist. We're the weirdest people there are, you know? We are what makes weird. Artist. But she's an artist, too, so it's like double weird. Because she's super creative. But anyways. What was I saying? So yeah, so this book is kind of gives a really good idea of like how to use perspective. Oh, that's too much words. But you know, even though it does, I still have to go through. I still have to finish this book. Using these. Oh, here's a good example right here. So you have lines going to a point, right? Right, and then you can shoot upwards where they intersect. If you make a line going this direction, and you can make a line wherever you need to go, but you want to keep it in the same kind of idea and then go from there. This is really good understanding of it all. So that's what I've been doing. Now, how you do stuff like this, I don't know, man. I'm like kind of baffled a little bit on some of this stuff. It's really intense perspective because it's all math, and I hate math. I wish it didn't exist sometimes, but whatever. Anyways, TF, how's your day? How's the art world? Frozzy, you too. Anything new? You guys do anything fun? Ah, son of a gun. I don't have my perspective, my image. Hold on a second. I gotta find my images real quick. Okay, there we go. Got them sending to my iPad so I can see them. What'd you guys say? Oh, who's the author of that book? It is Rex Vickett Cole. It is. Are you going live at 9? Nice. Hey, nice. I love your lives. I wish you'd do it more often. It's good stuff. Real expensive though. I don't know if you can afford it. You might have to save up for a couple months or so. But it's $4.95. I don't know when this was the price. It's probably like $12 an hour at least. The guy who gave it to my wife, I probably should give it back to him. But it's Rex Vickett Cole. Or maybe, I don't know, maybe it's like a French name. It's like Rex Vincent Collet. I don't know, man. I don't know. I know it's good, though. It's pretty solid. I need to go through it all. It's probably a quick read. Whoa, did I just see Sir Joshua? There's no such thing as a Sir Joshua. I'm tripping balls right now. There's no way. I did see it. I know I saw it. No, I didn't. Sorry, off track for a second. I've never seen such a thing. If I saw what I saw. Man, how uncool is that? I thought I literally saw Sir Joshua. There's never been a Sir Joshua ever. I would know. I'm a Josh. I look up these things. It's funny. I like most Joshes. Most Joshes in the world I know are pretty dope. But then the one guy who got me fired from my last, like 2 jobs ago, he was a Josh. He was a real big piece of poop. like a class A piece of poop. But, you know, maybe his parents misnamed him. I don't know. Okay, I guess it's not here. Maybe I didn't see it. I thought I saw Sir Joshua something. It's me projecting onto this book. Darn. Okay. Hope shattered. Wait, was that it? Nope, not it. I'm an idiot. Yep, tripping balls. No, he definitely had no reason. He definitely was jealous. He was jealous that. Anyways, I won't get into it. It's one of those pressure points in my life. Man, he makes me so angry. I've never met a person I wanted to like. You know, Street Fighter move. You know, Street Fighter uppercut. He's just, you know, he's the guy who created a whole booklet of lies about me because he wanted to protect his own job, so he needed a scapegoat. So he threw me under the bus when I didn't. I'm the person who got him the job. Ooh. Yeah, I was tripping on my balls, and then I have bigger issues than that. Okay, let's get back to it. Let's draw perspective. Can you guys see? I can't see my computer. Okay, yeah, we're good. Let me pull up my talking app. Hey, our Discord is doing pretty good. I'm impressed by our Discord for all of you who are part of it. We have some really good artists now joined in, and they could probably give us some extra insight into the world, right? So I'm really stoked about that. I like the fact that, you know, everyone's very kind about it, so I just want to say that's good. It's a good thing. It's a good thing, except I can't find my photos. Ay. Okay. Sorry, I'm trying to work on my iPad right now. Get my photos to show up. There we go. Okay, so we're going to do some windowing a little bit, and we're going to be separating mainly what I'm going to be doing is separating the buildings. Yeah. Well, booklet? What booklet? Oh, yeah. No, it wasn't a booklet. It's this form that he created. I got called into the office one day, his office, him. He was, I asked him to be the operations manager of this. So we worked at a nonprofit, and I was originally the visual designer above him for the main part of the organization. And then when he wanted a job, because he was he was just doing construction under contract, but he's like, I would love to work for this, place. I was like, all right, let me talk to the guy. So I talked to them, and they hired him as operation manager. And they're like, Josh, what position are you looking for? I'm like, well, just put me as just a normal customer service kind of dude. I want to help the homeless. Like, it's a homeless thing and a drug rehab. Put me at the lowest position. I don't care. I don't want to be visual designer anymore. I want to be at the lowest. I literally did that not because I'm being super humble and bullcrap. I'm not trying to boast myself that way. It was because the people of that, it was a church that was a 100-year-old mission church that was a Spanish church that I really enjoyed their company. Like, they were just amazing. They were all different ethnicities, had so many families. They've been there for 100 years, and so they've been there for decades. And I was like, I don't really want to do visual design anymore because I'm not really helping anybody. I'm just like serving this whole propaganda bullcrap for the organization. So I was like, I don't care if you take off some of my money, just give me the position because I enjoy just being around and helping with my hands. I like working with my hands. I like feeding and like cooking and cleaning. I like that stuff. It's just me, I'd rather be in the nitty gritty stuff. And so when I got that, he was above me. He was my superior, which I was cool with. I was like, hey, it's fine. I don't care. Do your thing. Well, what he didn't like was he tried to make friends with the community of that church, or the volunteers and all that stuff. But the volunteers never saw him around because he was always in the office doing like whatever. And he was really kind of creepy in a way, very creepy with the females. And like everyone kind of enjoyed my presence. Well, I wouldn't say everyone enjoyed. Some of the people hated me because like they're like, Josh, you're doing too much work and whatever, like trying to like get them to be productive because some people were lazy. I'm sorry, they were lazy. So I was kind of like the manager of the volunteers, managers of like the people within that community, making sure that the food program ran. And so, but they still, I was laid back and chill, but he wanted to be that guy. And I was like, I got called into his office and they're like, Josh, did you do this and this and this? I was like, yeah, sure, yeah. They're like, well, you didn't get my permission. I'm like, what? What the hell are you talking about? And he has started power tripping within like months of being in his position. And I was like, oh, okay. I see what this kid is. He's younger than me by a few years. And I was like, oh, I see what's happening. I see that he's kind of like, he's having this jealous moment. But I was hoping it would pass. Hey, John, welcome. You made it. But anyways, all that, long story short, is that I'm doing my job and I get a write-up notice from the pastors of the church kind of thing saying like, hey, Josh, come, can you meet us in the office? And there's this paper booklet thing of like 11 different things I did wrong, right? And each one were not only stupid, but made up. They're not even real. They're not even actual things. Right? I went over this on one video before. Let me just draw because I don't want... This isn't about me and my experience. But all that to say is that like it was like... I got called in the office by one of the worship pastor out of all things. And he was like, hey, Josh, you missed all this stuff. Here's a booklet of all the things that you need to be on disciplinary notice for. And I was like, well, I didn't do any of these things. I don't know why I'm being disciplined. He's like, well, don't argue with us. You really shouldn't say anything. I'm like, what do you mean I shouldn't say anything? He's in the pastor was like, well, just don't. You can't defend yourself. I'm like, what do you mean I can't defend myself? Like, isn't it a law and a rule that I have a right to defend myself, especially if it are not true? He's like, well, it's better if you don't. And I'm like, what do you mean it's better that I don't? I didn't do these things. He's like, one person said. In the description that the other Josh said, he goes, I cause issues between one girl and another girl in an argument in the kitchen, right? And it wasn't true and it wasn't real. I was like, what? So what happened was these two girls got into a fight, an argument, and one girl left. So I went out to the girl who left and said, are you okay? And then I approached the other girl who was kind of an issue with, and I approached her and like, are you okay? And that's it. That's all that happened. I was making sure that they were okay and the fight was settled. But he turned it around to make it sound like I created drama. It wasn't me at all. It was not even me at all. I solved the issue. But because the church is a little bit white oriented, right? So like it's all the pastors are kind of white guys. White male, and this Josh is a very white male, so that they have this really racist thing that they do where they throw away ethnic people and replace them with ethnic people who support them. Very strange, very like they don't tell anybody. It's very hidden, very smooth. But that wasn't just the one thing. He did stupid stuff like, oh, Josh missed one meeting, right? Like, and I did miss one meeting. The reason why I missed one meeting because I was at another meeting with another organization trying to get better training for us as leaders to help Josh and the other guy who's above him named Kyle. And but those two guys were never at the meetings ever because they were always sleeping in, missing it, doing other stuff, whatever excuse they have, but they never got disciplined for it. But the one time I missed it, they're like, oh, Josh isn't here. So I was like, what the fudge? Like pissed. I was so mad because I was like, that's dumb. And then there's a whole bunch of other things like, I wish I could find the paperwork. It's all right here. There's only one thing that I did do, and that was the one thing that I admit that I wasn't there. I missed the meeting. That was my one flaw. Um, so when it came down to it, the pastors believed Josh because Josh had swindled with his who was my friend at the time, no longer my friend, but he was his superior, and convinced him that I was doing these things. But all the rest of the staff, even the volunteers, wrote documentation saying Josh never did these things. These are all manufactured lies, like they're not true. And I submitted them to the board that held the pastors accountable, right? And held the employees accountable. I submitted it to the board because I was like, hey guys, there's something sketchy going on. I submitted it to the board. You know who I get a call back from? The pastor. I was like, Pastor, why do you have this slip that I sent to the board? He goes, well, I'm on the board. And I was like, what? How is the guy who's supposed to be, how are you on the board if the board is supposed to keep you accountable? So the way churches work is that if you're a pastor, you're overseeing the entire thing, and anything in the people that you hire who's supposed to be above you to keep you accountable, they're not going to say anything bad about you because you're a part of their organization, or you pay them pretty much, right? So all that to say was it became a really big thing, and they tried buying me off and making me sign an NDA. And I was like, I'm not going to sign an NDA. Like, I have morals. I'm sorry, guys. Like, I know, because the last pastor they paid him a lot of money, like a crazy amount of money, so that he wouldn't mention these things because he was a pastor. But they paid him off because they wanted to absorb his church, which is the church I was defending, that 100-year-old church. But when they did that to me, I had a choice: take the money and some electronics that they were offering, like a computer and all this bull crap, or just hold my morals. And if anyone knows me, I'm a rebel all the way. So I'm like, screw that. I'm not going to get paid anything. I'll find money elsewhere. Money comes and goes, right? So they were not happy. I didn't sign that NDA for crap. And that's the only reason why I can say these things to you and everyone else. My church is evil? Yeah, absolutely. It wasn't my church. It's no longer my church. It's the Los Angeles church, Reality LA. That's them. They're a bunch of dickheads. But here's the funny thing is, like, the whole crew and the staff of 30 guys and women were my friends. But the moment I got terminated, which was crazy because they terminated me on the spot, and then I walked. I didn't even get time to go to my computer to log on to a meeting that was happening 10 minutes later. And by the time I got on that meeting, the pastor had already been on the meeting saying that, oh, Josh is no longer a part of us. We've had this disagreement, and started spinning this crazy narrative about me. And I was like, what? And he wouldn't let me say anything to the group. He wouldn't even let me log in. In fact, all my credentials were deleted right away, so I had no login stuff to go and check my scheduling or all that jazz, everything. Because he knew I would try to defend myself, right? And so then all those people never contacted me after that, never talked to me, never reached out, nothing. And I was like, wow, man, I heard bad stories about working for churches, but this one, man, that's crazy, you know. And I was the visual designer. I was the over the cameras and the ministry of graphic design and stuff like that. And I did everything to help them out, to grow. And if you don't align with the pastor's views, or if they have some kind of like whatever, that's what happens. So I've been fighting them for years now. I still post, often about that church, so I don't get other people don't fall into, like, I just talked to a guy on Instagram today. He was saying, well, it's a good church. I'm like, okay, I understand the congregants might be good. The people that attend are good. The pastors, you need to recognize that they do money issue. They have money issues. They lie, they abuse a lot of things. They're power hungry. They make more than $100,000 a year being pastors when they only, stuff like that. So, anywho, that's me ranting. But that Josh character, the only reason why he wanted to be a part of that church and work for them was because he wanted a girlfriend. He wanted to, get some, hey guys, hey crazy mama. He wanted to get some female loving, in which he eventually did. I guess, good for him, I suppose. But all that to say is that when it comes to churches, I've been a part of a lot of churches, and a lot of churches are very similar to this style. But this was the first time I didn't have an NDA. I didn't have to like, you know what I mean? Like I was able to actually speak about it. Like they didn't pay me a crap, but they paid another guy like crazy amount of money for him not to say anything. And many other people, they all have to sign NDAs when they get terminated because they know what's crazy about the church. And this is a very popular church. So, you know what I mean? Like if I saw the other Josh, I'd probably Bruce Lee him pretty quick. You know, is that the Jesus-like Christ thing to do? I don't know. Maybe if Jesus knew kung fu, maybe. Could be. We don't know that. Probably wouldn't be written in the Bible. And they're freaking the bed? Yeah. No, it's not all churches are kind of a cult because you have to agree to a certain perspective, right? But it's not a cult in the sense of like drinking the Kool-Aid. But it could be a cult. It could be a cult. Christ foo, yeah. I mean, Christ foo's pretty strong. Yeah. Jesus, please tell the people that it wasn't us who killed you, but it was the Jews. Sign this NDA, please. Yeah. Anyways, I'm still working. That's one of my if you ever know my Instagram, I don't share my Instagram for that because it's like the people that follow my actual personal Instagram, Joshua, Lamb1 or whatever, they're like friends and family, but they're all mostly Christian. Literally 100% is like Christian. And maybe 99%. And so I've been trying to reach out to them and teach them about the issues of the church and stuff. And man, there's no better hate than Christian hate. That's a fact. Or love. No better love than Christian love. It's like, I get called the worst son of Satan, evildoer of scum, all kinds of weird, crazy crap from Christians. And I'm like, man, you got to read the Bible more, please. But it's okay. It's okay. That's part of life, right? That's and I actually enjoy it. As much as I complain about it a little bit, I actually enjoy, it means I'm doing something right, educating people about stuff, so it's fine. Okay, I should add the details later, but I'm gonna add a window here. I like to work in small segments. So like, for example, I want to get this built out and then move along the cityscape going back, and then I'll have some rocks and some stuff coming down or whatever. But for now, we're just working on kind of figuring out what the buildings are looking like, not going into full detail. But if you don't know, then let's explain real quick. I want you guys to figure this out. Gee whiz. I've been thinking of going to church. I just don't know where to look, like you said about the one church. Look, church, okay, I'm going to give you a flat out. Church is fine if you're going there to meet people, right? Hey, P. Garza. Like, if you're going there to meet, like, people who are just looking to be good and fix their life up and stuff like that, it's great. But the one thing you have to always go in with a perfect mentality is that the pastor, it's the leaders, it's not the congregants, it's rarely the congregants, because all congregants are all there to have community. It's the pastors and the leaders that will always 100% lead you astray. Not because all the time that they want to, but because they don't know better. For example, you can go to a Baptist church, you can go Pentecostal. I was raised Southern Pentecostal, Assemblies of God. You can go to Catholic, you can go to freaking Islam. I don't care what you go to. But the leaders of those churches or the mosques, right? They're going to preach and teach what they have been learning. And what they've been learning comes from a perspective of desire and what they think God is telling them. But there's zero validation of what God is telling them because A, they're the only ones talking and they never share the pulpit. B, their perspectives are based off of life experiences, so they're only teaching you what they think is correct. And C, they don't actually learn from non-believers, right? The biggest issue is that they don't actually learn history. They don't learn facts. They only learn anthropology or archaeology. They don't learn anything outside of even hermeneutics or etymology, right? They don't learn these things because they know that if they actually studied it, it would tear down that spiritual world that the Bible portrays. But they don't realize that the Bible is built off of 66 books that have been cut down throughout the decades and the years, right? For centuries, we've been cutting it down to where we get the Protestant Bible, which has been manipulated over and over and over, right? But then if you go back, you have the Catholics that have more books, you have the Eastern Orthodox that have more books, and you have the original Bible organization of Christians back in 100 AD or 200 AD, where there were different versions of the Bible, and that's where we get the Gnostic Gospels from and the ones from Nag Hammadi. But they don't want to take that into account because that would destroy their ability to make money, to have control over a culture and a community and all kinds of other bullcrap. So when you go to church, don't listen to the pastor. Let him preach and do his thing and say, okay, well, he's a motivational speaker. But the real essence of church is meant to be around people who are looking to do good for the community, right? Help the homeless, feed, help widows, help the orphans, stuff like that. But if they're trying to do a building project for their church to grow, they're doing church camp for kids, they're doing all the bull crap, mission trips, short-term mission trips and all that kind of stuff, which most of them do, you know that they're like obviously in for themselves and not for the community, because literally down the road, there'll be another church and that church will be a Baptist church while this church is a non-denominational. Do they work together? No. That means they have no desire to actually help the community. You know what I mean? If I had a church and I was like, say, we're teaching it this way, but Pastor John Lopez over here, who I don't even speak Spanish, and he knows he preached this way, why did I not work with him to help the community bind so we can fix the area, right? And love on people. But they won't do that because pride is the greatest sin for churches. Nonetheless, though, if you enjoy church and you want to go, I'm not telling you not to. I'm not going to say it because some people adore it, right? They just love it to death. And that's fine. That's great. It's good for you. If it's good for you, it's good for you. You know what I mean? I won't say anything about it. I get so much hate for people like, oh, you're the Antichrist. People have called me the worst because I've asked questions like, I never even told anyone not to go. I just said, do you trust your pastor? And they're like, oh, my pastor is the most beautiful man in the world, even though he makes $300,000 a year and he just preaches one Sunday each week. I'm like, that's freaking crazy crap. No pastor should be making that money whatsoever. Jesus didn't get paid. Did he get paid? Did Jesus get paid? Call yourself a Christian. No, you're a Paulinian. You should. You should do that. Oh, you mean me? I should do a picture of a church and people. Yeah, well, I just, you know what it is? I don't want hate that much hate. It's just ridiculous. Well, pastors, yeah. The problem is that not only do pastors sin, but they sin greatly. And people worship pastors for some reason, worship leaders and all that stuff, which is so ridiculous. But it's not even that they sin. It's that they don't actually read the Bible. They read the Bible in a perspective that is very, very inaccurate. Like, I've gone through theology and education through through all the stuff that a pastor would go through. And the problem is that when you go to these schools to learn theology and all this stuff, they're literally neglecting facts and truth, right? Because they have to, because the Bible says we're only 6,000 years old. The earth is only 6,000 years old, right? I had an argument today about someone asking me, like, how do you know that it's older than 6,000? And I told them, I was like, well, so you don't believe in dinosaurs? Like, you don't, like, what's your thought process on stone tools and harvest? Like, these things are older than the Bible, but you know, some people, they don't study. A lot of people don't study. Most people who go to church never read the entire Bible, and the reason why they don't is because A, they're lazy, and B, that they know that if they did, they wouldn't like what they read. Like, that's just fact on out. The Bible says some nasty things, like really nasty stuff. And it's contradictory. It's contradictory in every fashion possible to itself. And yet people don't want to admit to it because that means they think that it connects to Jesus and them not being able to be saved or having holiness or something like that. I don't know where they get this from. It's usually from pastors teaching them this stuff, but it's not true. Like, you can learn facts and know that the Bible has tons of errors and still try to be a good Christian. You know what I mean? But I've had people spit in my face because of it. It's crazy. Yeah, they don't believe birds are descendants. Oh yeah, they definitely cherry-picked the Bible. The Bible is the most cherry-picked book ever. The story of Judas, right? Jesus tells Judas that he's going to commit this crazy feat and to do it quickly. He says, do it quickly. And yet he's the bad guy. He's just following the rules of Jesus Christ. And even Jesus, even Judas felt so bad that he hung himself. Oh, wait, no, he didn't hang himself. You look in the book of Acts and it says that his body burst open after it fell headlong. Wait, which one is it? Oh my gosh. But Christians won't answer. They'll be like, oh no, he was hanging and then he fell. That's not how gravity works, friend. Like, if you're hanging from a tree, like you hung yourself, you don't if the rope is cut for some reason, your head doesn't go head downwards. Your feet go first, and then you crash and break your legs and stuff like that. It's common sense. But people don't want to use common sense, so good old the world. Yeah, someone was spitting in my face because I said reggae music. Bob Marley has a song called Jammin' in the Name of the Lord. And I said, if a kid was to listen to that song, let's say he was in Jamaica, right? A little kid who never knew Jesus, never knew Christianity, or never knew Bob Marley. He just heard the song, jamming in the name of the Lord, we be jamming, yeah. And then he's worshiping to that song. He's worshiping God to that song. Let's say he goes to church and he worships that song. Is he at fault? Does that mean he goes to hell because he's singing to a worship song by Bob Marley, who most Christians don't think is a Christian, right? And he got so mad. The guy got so mad. Oh my gosh. He was like millimeters from my face. Millimeters with spit just like blasting into my mouth and my face and my eyes and everything. And then he stormed upstairs. I felt like he was going to knock me out. Yeah, John. He was brought back on the day of the bunny reigned supreme. No, I don't spit on people, but it's okay though. Not my first rodeo. I was born into the church. My father was a worship pastor, so I grew up with church people being absolutely nutcases. So it's not like nothing new. The reason why it's more prominent today than it was when I was younger, or even years ago, or a decade ago, is because in the last 10 years, so many people have come to me saying, like, when I worked for the church, they would come to me and say, Josh, this is what's happening. This is so harmful. Your pastor is doing this and this. And I was ignoring them because I had a job. I was getting paid. I couldn't really do anything to stir the pot. And I felt so bad. I felt so bad, and it bothered me so much. That's why I started standing up for them, and then started standing up for what's right. And then, of course, they terminated me like I knew they would. I mean, I even predicted. I even told my wife they were going to terminate. I was like, if I start this, they're going to fire me because that's how Christians are. And sure enough, they did exactly what I had thought they would do. But the only reason why I worked for the church was because we moved to LA and it's expensive here, and they offered me a really good paying position. But I also thought I could change the church. I was kind of prideful. I thought I could change that mentality. And I was so wrong. I was so wrong. You can't change people like that. Like, that's just not how it works. And that's my fault. But look, Christians can be sweet and loving. A lot of my friends are still Christian. I never call myself a Christian. I call myself a believer because I love Jesus. I do. I think Jesus is like the coolest dude ever. Like, he freaking died trying to go. He said, Jews, you guys are over religious. You're over crazy. You can't be doing this. You got to be loving each other. And they're like, nah, love? That's crazy. Let's kill you for it. You know what I mean? And I'm like, that's dope. He went against both politics and religious leaders. So to me, he reigns supreme to me. Now, is he the Son of God? That's kind of wild. Like, I don't really... Come on. Like, that, he didn't even say that in the Bible yet. We've attributed that to him. People who don't know how to read the Bible say, oh, no, he said he was he was the Son of God. And it's like, no, he didn't. He asked other people what they thought of him, and they said that he was the Son of God. And he's like, well, you said it, but here's the truth, you know? Thanks, TF. Hope you have a good one. Is it already 9 o'clock for you? I'll be on your live. I'll join in once we're done with this. Yeah, so if you do join a church, all I say is this, is like, look at the community and see what can benefit you. I know that sounds selfish, but it's not selfish, because you want something that benefits the structure of your life, and that's what church is meant for, to be a community-based thing, but make sure you're helping out homeless people. Make sure you're helping out, those in need, kids and orphans. You know how many orphans are on this freaking planet? It's crazy, and we need to be there with them all the time. So I really, really highly, highly recommend you, if you do join a church, which church is not bad. It's just the pastors. I literally don't know a single pastor who's not bad, and it's because they're all in it for themselves. But there's a couple that are good. There's a couple, okay. There's a few. Far and few, though. Far and few. Okay, back to the drawing. I don't want to... I've been talking about religion for freaking an hour, it feels like. Sorry. I want to apologize. It's just one of those tangents that I get on because, like, it literally is part of my day-to-day life. I get on Instagram and I go on all these stupid Instagram posts and stories and try to correct people because they don't know anything. They don't study anything. I feel like people just don't want to learn. And it drives me insane. Like, who doesn't believe in dinosaurs? Like, I don't understand why we don't believe in dinosaurs. Like, ugh. Sorry, that one makes me so mad. Okay, so what I'm doing right now is I'm taking some of these shots and I'm trying to, I'm not building the people out right yet, but I'm going to be building kind of like small little scenes, right? To kind of, dimensionally, I don't know how to do vehicles very well. That's not my forte, so I'm just going with like size comparison, and they'll get smaller as I go. Nah, you're good, John. You're all good. No, it's fine. Originally, while I started my channel was to help people who dissociate themselves from the faith, because I have a lot of people on my Instagram who message me when I post these things, saying, and I'm very thankful for this. They're like, thank you, Josh, for talking about this, bringing up questions about the church and the Bible that we should be addressing, because I've been hurt by the church. And I'm thankful that you're speaking about things that I've been hurt about. And those things are what keep me going, really. Like, when I get those messages, they're like the most fueling Yuko, the world is flat. It is flat as can be. When I go outside and I look, there is not a single thing that says round. So dumb. I don't understand how people think that the world is not round. Even a water droplet that falls is round. Like it blows my mind the intense amount of ridiculousness that. Um, then again, I have a friend who kind of believes that the world is flat until he got on an airplane. I was like, bro, I'm gonna bring you to Los Angeles, get on the airplane, and then tell me if you believe it. Then, come on, bro. Like, what are you doing? Like, you're not serious, right? But when you watch too many documentaries and stuff in America, you don't really educate yourself on facts. It's crazy. Whatever. That is mind blowing that people do that. Okay, how about this? What's the craziest thing you've ever heard from somebody that they believe in? Like, what's something that you think you're like, what? You actually believe in something like that? What's the craziest you've heard? Mine is, let's see, what would be mine? I have so many darn crazy ones. The world is flat's pretty crazy. Oh well, the other so Yuko, you didn't know the other planets are just pictures. They're not actual real planets. They're just like photoshopped images posted on a big screen far away on the dome of the Earth. No one trusts science anymore. I would say flat Earth is pretty crazy. I had to say flat Earth is crazy. Oh, you know what it is? Trump is Jesus, the reincarnation of Jesus. That's the craziest crap I've ever heard. Yeah. Oh, you just mentioned it. There you go, John. I think that's what you're talking about. Um, yeah, Yuko. It's like they project images of planets onto this dome that's protecting the flat Earth, because technology's been around forever because we're part of the matrix. The president thing, Trump being Jesus, is ridiculous. I think that's the gnarliest thing I've ever heard. The guy is in scandal with Stormy Daniels right now, and Christian believers think that he is the second coming. Oh man, hurts my heart. Truly does hurt my heart. Confuses me so much. Or also the dinosaur thing. That's pretty crazy too. Like the dinosaur thing blows my mind. Like, how do you not believe in that? I don't. What I mean, what do you like? But like you say, what the hell? It's very confusing. I feel bad for scientists. I bet scientists are just like slapping their heads so much every day because they're like, humanity, we're lost, we're screwed. you know? Gee whiz, guys. I don't know what we're doing with our lives. Anyways, on a brighter note, isn't it crazy how religions even get born? Do you know like cults get born? Like people actually follow cults. Isn't that crazy? Like think of it. Let's take a scenario, everybody. Josh here with Inkology. Let's all worship the inking god. Did you not know that God created the earth with a drop of ink, with black and white? And that's why we have two races, black people and white people. But throughout that, sin has covered over us, and we have a mixture of different colored skins and Asians and stuff like that. But I'm God. I am the second coming myself, for the Bible says it. Let me use some passages I pick and choose. And please drink this Kool-Aid on the final days where we will all rest into the heavens together. Like, what? Oh yeah, oh yeah. They definitely, when the rich religious people go on rants all the time, they're just like, Yuko. They're like that's their favorite thing to do. Well, I mean, John, some people believe that was okay because he that was in personal, private time. You know what I mean? They had 1,000 excuses. Really, Yuko? That's crazy. Dang, that's crazy, Yuko. He was a higher up too. Hmm. Yeah. You know what it is? I feel bad. So I grew up in the church, right? And like I feel bad for my fellow believers because when they study facts, they don't study National Geographic. They don't study evidence or anything like truthful. They go, oh well, this Christian said this or this Christian said that, which is counterproductive because you're only taking biased perceptions of what happened and saying, oh, this must be true because a Christian who believes in what I believe in says it. But that's ridiculous because that doesn't make sense to science. But then they think that science is evil. I'm like, well, if we didn't have science, you wouldn't have your iPhone. You wouldn't have your refrigerator. What are you talking about? Like, you want to pick and choose what sciences you enjoy? Yeah. He came often for the. Um, man. Sorry you had to deal with that, Yuko. That's no bueno. That's no fun. Lame. I don't even know how that works either because, like, I don't know how people get away with that because a lot of these people are married couples. Like, so does the spouse believe in the same thing? Like, allow this kind of treatment or allow these kind of things go on? You know, like, I don't understand it. I find myself very lucky though because my wife and I we met in the church. We actually met at a Bible study, and the reason why I was like I'm going to marry this woman was because she said, why can't we drink alcohol?" Right? She said that in the first day of Bible study. She said that, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, this woman doesn't even care about what the church obviously believes. She's going to ask the questions that are hard." And I was like, that's something you don't see in people, especially religious people. And the thing is that whenever I got terminated from the church, I was kind of scared because I was like, is she going to be like still part of the church and like, dissociate herself from me and my thoughts? And she was totally on board. She was like, yeah, I understand. And, that's the craziest thing ever. So I owe her like 1,000 times of my life because not a single other human being, very little, few, but really mostly nobody has come to like agreements to understand like why I said this. The church is the problem, not Christ or not Christ or God, but more or less the church itself, because the church is an institution based off of like collecting more people, making themselves popular, building these stupid freaking things to make the church more independent, all these kind of, and they're not even taxed by the government. Why? Anyways, I'm very thankful. Hey, good job, John. Dude, I should have bought more trees too. Hey, Frozzy, you gotta fight authority? Fight freaking authority. We don't handle that crap in the art world. We're artists. We stand up for everything. We stand up for what's right. Screw authority. Authority is just built by man, built by people like you and I, and we know how flawed we are, you know? Nice, working on your masters. That's the way to go. I'm still trying to work on my bachelor's for anthropology. I was trying to I finished my application today for college, for a community college actually, to do 2 years for anthropology. And then I will transfer over to a university to finish off for my bachelor's. And the only reason why I'm doing that, and I got ordained as a pastor the other day. I don't freaking know what the date exactly was. It was a couple days ago. I got ordained not because I was trying to build the church or anything. It's just because it allows me to do weddings and stuff like that and whatever. But I also did it partially because I think it's a joke. Being ordained as a pastor is kind of like being ordained as the Prince of Mordor in Lord of the Rings. You know what I mean? Like, think about it. Come on, guys. Let's be real for a millisecond of our lives and go, religions, there's tons of them. Each one has their different gods. Each one has their different hierarchy of how people serve it. So technically by you saying, oh, I'm a high priest, well, who gave you the high priest position? Yourself. Obviously, if you vote around the world, people are going to be like, well, you're not really qualified for a high priest, right? But because you say you're a high priest for whatever reason, even if you went to college, like you're learning lore, you know what I mean? Like it's not provable, it's not experimental. You can't go, okay, God of Poontang, give me a cup of juice or whatever. You know what I mean? I pray this in the name of Kula Hula Mula Kara Kara. You know, and then the cup appear. Like we don't have that. We can't even do witchcraft. Like think of that. Witchcraft is the most fearful thing that we make movies off of. But if you go grab stones and candles and draw lines on the carpet or on the wood, and you do a blood sacrifice of a chicken, you think the devil is going to come up out of that ground and do something? You know what I mean? Welcome, Krusty. You're entering a very fun conversation. So, you know what I mean? Like, none of this is evidential. This is all lore that we've created because we want to believe in something. All of us want to believe in something. I'm just here hoping to draw these gods out so that way we can have things. And the funny thing is, like, you know, I was doing the comic book challenge. If you guys, you know, most of you guys are doing the comic book challenge right now with me. How many of you guys are actually halfway through, or where are you guys at on the comic book challenge? Frozzy, let's really hope it's not a tumor for sure, buddy. Um, you're still in the writing stage, Yuko. I grew up in the. I mean, I was born in the 80s, but I grew up in the early 90s. Frozzy, if you still have a headache and you've had this for a couple of days now, check two things before you jump to tumor mode. A, you're drinking enough water and getting enough sleep because you could be overworked and you could be overstressed. But also the water intake of the human body while stressed and overworked can be doubled. So you need to have like so much water in your body to kind of compensate for that. And then on top of that, tumors might not give you the headache thing. It might actually be more of like a migraine issue of just like blood pressures and stuff like that. But never jump to the worst situation possible. But definitely go get checked out. Go to the doctor, dude. Artists are meant to live forever. So go get checked out. You're an 80s kid, Krusty. So let's see. You grew up in the 80s. That means you were born in the 80s? I was an 85 kid, but I grew up in even though I grew up in 91, 92, remembering that the most, all my TV shows and all my culture was from the 80s because my sister was very 80s. She's like 10 years older than me. So she's the 80s. She's the real, like, she lived the 80s out hard. And so I grew up with watching everything old school. I grew up with crap that was so much older, like I Love Lucy, Mary Tyler Moore, Dick Van Dyke, and stuff like that. But then all the shows that I was allowed to watch, right, was very 80s. He-Man, Voltron, shoot. Oh man, what other crap that Thundercats and stuff like that. Like that was my life because I grew up 10 years. I felt like I grew up 10 years before all my friends. All my friends were on top of the new stuff. I was never on that new stuff. Never. Ever. I was always playing catch up. So okay, we need to do some perspective stuff, otherwise this channel is just useless. It's just me ranting about religion crap. Okay, so you were raised in the 80s. Okay, guys. So let's ask this question. 80s fans, let's choose two things. Your favorite TV show, animation, or live action. How about this? One animation, one live action. But here, what's your favorite 80s apparel, clothing? Because the 80s had the best clothing. Mine is the bike shorts, the vibrant biker shorts. I wore those like nobody's business. Whoa, John, what are you talking about? There was a commercial in India that would tear you up or something? Have tears going down your face? What was the commercial? What? I'm curious now. Wait, okay, send me a link to this thing. I want to see. I'm sure they have it on YouTube now, right? I'm so curious what you're talking about. You're 76, so that means you grew up in the 80s for sure. Oh yeah, movies suck. I mean, I work at a movie theater. I know. They just don't make them like they used to. Do you guys remember watching any of the first Alien movies in theaters? Or, hey, John, you might have saw one of the last, wasn't Return of the Jedi in the early 80s? Was it right? Am I right? Am I wrong? I could be wrong. But you might have caught one of the Star Wars movies then, huh? MacGyver. I like MacGyver. Dude, 1985 is the best year. You had Ninja. You had not Ninja. I think you had Ninja Turtles too. You had Mario come out. You had all kinds of stuff come out. Dude, it was the best. Oh, my dog wants in here for some reason. Predator. Dude, Terminator and Predator, when they came out, mind blowing. Mind blowing. They made games differently back in the day too, because like even video games had more substance to them. You know what I mean? Like you felt like you were playing something that had a tale and a story. These days it's just like, oh, Beetlejuice. Beetlejuice is so good. An early '90s movie that I really enjoyed, Sandlot. You remember Sandlot? Um, it's so freaking good. The FHE logo that would pop up before all these movies like Ninja Turtles and stuff like that. It just meant I was going to get it like, oh, Homeward Bound. You guys remember Homeward Bound? With the dog and the cat? The dogs and the cat that could talk and stuff? Gee whiz. Movies back then were just so good. Mrs. Doubtfire. Pretty Woman and stuff. Oh my gosh, you had so much stuff. Breakfast Club, E.T., Raiders of the Lost Ark, Princess Bride. You can't go wrong with these things. Like, it's insane. Let's see, you have Empire Strikes Back was a 1980s film, which I wish I was there to watch that. I wasn't born yet. You had Blade Runner come out in the 80s. You had Die Hard, which I was like 3 years old when that came out. Hey, welcome PS153, which I guess is Patrick. Welcome to the channel. Hey. You know what the best part of the 80s was? Here it is. Ghostbusters, 1984. Right? I mean, Ferris Bueller's Day Off was pretty good. That was like 86 or something. But then you had I think The Shining came out in 1980. What? Top Gun, 86. Oh, okay. I take back everything I've ever said in my life. Right here, straight up saying it right now. My favorite movie was the year that I was born, 1985, The Goonies. The Goonies, Josh Brolin, blah, 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 blah. All those guys. I don't know their names. I mean, you had Indiana Jones and stuff too in the Terminator, but The Goonies outbeat everything. I like, Goonies changed my life. Changed it all. Oh, yeah. Oh, Ghostbusters definitely changed people. Ghostbusters like made people go, wow, we have a whole different thing to live for. Oh, Stephen King, It. Dude, It was terrifying. I still won't go near, I won't still put my hand near gutter drains because of that movie. I won't do it. It's terrifying, man. Will not do it. Oh, man, I got to do all these, like, you know what? Let's just build the buildings first. This is going to be a brick, and then I have... I have some lines I have to draw here. What's my dog barking for? What are you doing, dude? What time is it? Oh, it's only 8 o'clock. He can be grody, rowdy. So okay, I don't think I even explained on this entire thing. Rambo. Oh, you guys watched the new Rambo, like the one that he came out with like a few years ago? I thought it was so good. I love Sylvester Stallone. I mean, I love Arnold and Sylvester. Lethal Weapon. Heck yeah. You know, Lethal Weapon's fun. But I like Naked Gun. You ever guys ever watched Naked Gun with it's like a comedy version of all that stuff. Hey, Total Recall. I know this is the scene that you remember. Arnold Schwarzenegger's eyes bulging out, and then that woman's eyes bulging out because they're in Mars and there's no oxygen, so they're like losing their mind. Oh my gosh, I was losing my crap. Okay, just to give you an idea of what I did, we have Indian Spider-Man and Batman falling from the sky. I had to find a perspective that was kind of a top view shooting outward. So I chose this one that was kind of at an angle coming from here. And the reason why I didn't choose it from this direction, it was because a lot of the action is coming from this direction, from Spider-Man and Batman. So I wanted the perspective to be coming from this direction. So when I created it, I put a line like this, and it shot off the page. And there was a center point like right here, and then I would just move it, move it, move it, move it. You know what I mean? See, you can see how it is. Oh, there we go. That's the circles for that specific reason. Boom, 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 and you can see the lines line up. Okay. Now, these are buildings that get further out. The question is how do you measure the distance of each building getting smaller and smaller as the space goes by? And the way you do that, I don't know. What I do is I literally go this way, and then I go a little bit shorter, and I just go shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter and shorter until I get to the point where there's no longer visible. That's literally all I do. I have no idea. The Church of the Damned. Well, Frozzy, I appreciate that. That'd be pretty sick. Sylvester Stallone said in the clip that he was cracked his ribs when he jumped. Oh, I know, right, John? That's crazy. That's crazy that actors would put themselves through that kind of insanity. Running Man. You know what's funny about Running Man is that I've never seen Running Man. Okay, that's not true. I think I've seen half of Running Man. I don't know what the ending's like. Poltergeist. Oh my gosh. Well, Frozzy, if you make a movie, a comic called Josh and the Church of the Damned, it'd be great. I think you should do it. I have a plan. I actually have an actual plan. So the reason why I'm collecting money for my Patreon and stuff like that and trying to do this is to build a Bible, which is crazy. I know. I'm building an actual Bible called the Lamb Version Bible. I don't know. I'm just making up some stuff. Anyways, the whole point of the Bible is to include all the books that were discarded because of bishops and Catholics or religious leaders throughout the centuries. Because you have the Gospel of Thomas, Judas, Mary, Gospel of Truth. You have the Lost Gospel of I think Peter or John, one or the other. And then you have the Maccabees. You have all these other books that are not included in the Bible. You have like an extra 20 to 30 books. And they've been disregarded because they weren't discovered until recently. But even when in the first century or the first 100th century, in the second century, right, when they were discounting these books, and then you have these different groups trying to collaborate on which books that they want. Even the Book of Enoch, which is very important with the Ethiopian Bible. These all should be in a Bible, but for some reason, no one's ever created the Bible to be that. And I was like, well, that's retarded. Absolutely, 100%. I'm going to do that. So I've been studying. I actually have a list of all the books, and I have to go through them all. I'm slowly going through them. Like right now, I'm going through the book of Thomas and trying to learn about it. And I'm learning every single one so that way when I compile it into a big Bible, I can sell that Bible and all that money can go literally to some kind of nonprofit or something that's going to help people in a good way. But what it will do is correct. Hopefully, it will correct Christians as a whole. Every Christian, Catholic, Jehovah's Witness, Pentecostal, Baptist, non-denominational, all that. Because when you have a Bible that is like got every single book that's ever been written throughout the Christian stuff. Not well, I mean, obviously I had to stop it at like the 3rd or 4th century because after that, you get more into the Renaissance era of like the faith. You know what I mean? Like, so it's not like actual legitimate understandings of Christ. It's more or less like just bishops wanting to have their like control over their little community. But if we had like the first couple centuries of Christianity written down into these gospels that claimed to be, but they were only outcasted because, well, certain bishops were like, I don't like it, just put it out. And that's what happened, you know. It's Irenaeus. I think it was a bishop in the early 100, the 1st century or 2nd century. Was like, he's like, oh, you know what? He told all the monks around the monasteries and stuff like, hey, stop including these books, the gospels, these certain specific gospels, because they're heretics, they're heresy, right? And he gave the announcement to do that, and so they stopped including it. And so since then they were lost, and then we find them in 1945, I think it was. We through Nag Hammadi, we find all these gospels, and then we like, oh my gosh, the Gospel of Thomas and Judas and all this stuff tell different stories of Jesus in a probably more accurate way. Even though they're claimed to be about 100 AD or so, you have to remember Matthew, Mark, Luke, John, the Gospels were also decades after Jesus had died. 40 AD all the way up to almost 100 AD. And then Paul's letters were actually before that, but then Paul never met Jesus. So there's all these cool things that could be done, yet the Bible and the Christianity is built off of Paul, not Jesus. Just to clarify. Everything that the Bible and the church is built off of is off of Paul. But Paul never met Jesus, and he didn't even preach the same gospel as Jesus. But we like it because pastors have preached Paul, because Paul is part of the growth of finances and control. And he was pretty much a Jewish guy who was part of the Roman idea. You know what I mean? Even his original name was Saul, and he murdered and killed and does bad stuff to Christians. So if I could create a Bible where we include all these books and people have to flip through all of them, then we could change. What is my dog doing? Okay, give me 1 second, guys. Okay, sorry guys. The dog was just going ham on some people down below or something. What did I miss? Let's see. Okay, John, Demolition Man, I want one. So when he wiped it her, that is when it happened. What? I don't forget about Back to the Future was great. Oh, that was good. When he was back, when it was Cowboys and Indians with Michael being hanged in real life. Roman and Jewish. I was gonna be up late drawing tonight. Fell asleep at 7. Woke and joined the stream. Dog since ghost. Yeah, a ghost. If I had a ghost, that'd be great. Same with Stallone and the Expendables with the chain. Dude, the Expendables was a great, collaboration of action. I thought that was great. I think it should have had a better storyline, but still good. Fun stuff. Anyways, that's just my idea of creating a religious book. So when I'm not working on art, I'm working on religious things. I'm working on the Christian stuff. So if you can see my library of Christian junk, it's annoying. But like I said before, I'm not here to tell you not to believe in the religions that you believe in. Not here to tell you not to go to church. I'm here to, if anything, I'm going to tell you anything is hold your pastors accountable or your leaders accountable. The same way we keep our president accountable. We're like, dude, you're being a nut job. In which he is being a nut job. So, Common Raider. I don't know Common Raider, Frozzy. Sounds familiar, but I can't say I know him for sure. Okay. Okay, so it is what I was thinking it was. It was a Japanese character. I have to see the face though. If I'm right, he's wearing a mask, right? It's like a 70s character. Let me see. Oh, excuse me. My bad, guys. Oh, that thing came out of nowhere. It's like a bird from a different dimension. Okay, I know Kamen Rider. Kamen Rider is with the big red eyes and stuff like that. Actually, there's some new movies about him. That looks pretty cool. Wait, Jackie Chan has a hole in his head? Yeah, what hole? Jackie Chan, you know what's funny is Jackie Chan, I love Jackie Chan because of his moves and stuff like that and his movies. But he's kind of a piece. You're confusing me with that whole thing. Jackie Chan is kind of not known for his like kindness or goodness. He's a little bit of a not the coolest of guys. A lot of people don't like him in Hong Kong, and because of the way he kind of sells out and stuff. But it's kind of funny because I don't know how to take that because I really enjoy his films. I really love Jackie Chan movies. Like, I really love Jackie Chan movies. So, like, when people are like, oh, he's a real piece of trash, he's a misogynist, he's he disowned his own daughter because she came out as lesbian or something like that. All these kind of weird things. And I'm like, well, this is hard because I don't know how to feel. Like I want to support the cause that they're requesting and stuff, but then at the same time, I'm like, I really love his films. Like they're hilarious, they're fun, they take talent, and they do something that no other film does, which is crazy. It's kind of hard battling these things. Man, messing up stuff. Yeah, someone's work, but not who they are. That's one of those battles. Like, there's so many of those characters out there in the world. It's kind of hard to say who you like and don't like. I know, like, yeah, I don't know. There's tons of them. Yeah, so then, okay, how about this, guys? So after you guys I just see your messages. What do you think of, like, let's say me as Joshua Lamb, the artist, like you really like my art, you followed me for years, whatever it may be, but then I become just a dick. I'm a real jerk. I'm like a real piece of trash in person. You know what I mean? Like, or Jim Lee or somebody like that. They're just a real jerk off. Like they're just not the nicest guy ever, and yet you love all the work for so long and you followed them for so long. How do you reconcile something like that? Just let you guys know, I hope I'm never that way. Like I love human beings to an extent, of course, obviously no more than dogs, but I hope I'll never be that way. But like, let's say that comes the way. How do you deal with something like that? What's your perspective of how you support that person's art, since you probably collected their art throughout the years, but then you find out that they're a jerk? Like, what do you do? Okay. Like Picasso? Yeah, you're right. Oh man, Frozzy, that sounds terrible. That's rough. You know, but that's kind of interesting that you say that, because part of that, the reason why I like the Discord and the reason why I wanted to create a community more than something else was because the value of a person being joyful and happy outweighs their artistic skill. Yeah. Yeah, you could sell that art, Yuko. Like I find there are a million good artists in the world. There can be thousands, if not more than that. Um, the key issue comes down to what kind of person you are, I think, in the end. If you're a good person, if you're a bad person. Because even if your art sucks, if you're a good person, I could care less about your art. I care about why you did it. I care about what your imagination was and what you were trying to do. And I think that's more important. So, because skill sets will will take you so far, but a good personality will take you to the end of the world, right? Good people are the best things. And so in which I hope to create a community where people feel comfortable being that, you know what I mean? Like, I think that's most important, honestly. But we'll see how it goes. Yesterday I did a live stream. Thank goodness Harsha was on it, because Harsha kind of helped me out, because he's like, hey Josh, like, you using these gods in this way might get you canceled. And I was like, oh crap, that's the last thing I want to do is get canceled over just a comic strip. It was based off of the comic strip we were building for the comic book challenge, you know. Well, I think so too, Frosty. I think so too. You guys are all part of that, so I appreciate me meeting you all, because that's exactly what I think it is. But Frosty helped me out, because he's like, hey man, I know you're trying to make a fun comic, but then you can't really use this god this way. You might get canceled. And I was like, oh shoot, I didn't even think of it. I literally did not think of getting canceled. But he had a really good point. So I really, did I say Frosty? I'm sorry, I didn't mean Frosty. I mean Harsha. My bad, guys. Harsha told me this, and I appreciate it so much, because it really was. It's consideration is very important. And I have to figure out how to do, that kind of stuff. Life is unfair, and people are still raised to the top. Yeah, you're right, Yuko. No, Frozzy, you're 100% correct. I am not that famous to get canceled. And I said the same thing. I was like, dude, if I get canceled right now, that means I'm somebody. I'm definitely not anybody. But either way, I want to be respectful to people's beliefs. You know what I mean? Like, because I don't know their personal life. I don't know what they need in life. As much as I'm not a fan of Christianity being the way it is today, some people, like I know some people who just come out of prison, and the only thing that kept them alive was the whole story of Jesus Christ in the Bible. You know what I mean? Like, and that thing is so dear to them, for me to try to crush it and say, hey, you need to learn the theology correctly and stuff like that isn't appropriate, because I'm not the dictator of the human existence and stuff. So it just kind of, I don't want to get canceled right now. So when I was talking about the Indian gods, I was like, yeah, I guess I am being insensitive, but darn it, these make really good horror stories. Well, Frosty, I am changing the name. I am changing this whole story, actually. I'm changing everything. Today I decided we're not going to go with because if you missed it yesterday, most of y'all missed it yesterday. Wait, I got to read this this message. It says, you could just change the name. Like I say, don't praise a dick wad. Don't praise a dick wad. That is how I grew up. Oh, yeah. Okay, you're right. Okay. I wasn't sure how that read out. It's kind of hard to read. But I wrote out the entire comic book and drew it out last night on live stream. None of y'all were there, except for one person or two people. Harsha was there. Anyways, thank goodness Harsha was there. But anyways, I had this whole scene out and stuff, and then I had Kalima there, and then I was actually killing some people in this comic, but then he's like, well, you can't really do that, and I think that's fair. So like, I changed it. I'm not going to do any of this story of the ancient times, so like an Indiana Jones vibe. I'm actually going to do something a little bit more unique. I'm not going to share it with y'all because I want to surprise you. I'm going to do something so wacky creative that it's going to just blow your darn minds. Because I was like, well, if I can't use the god Kali into my story, and because I don't want to offend anybody, then I have to create a whole new god or a whole new deity of some sort. But then I want it to be terrifying, but I also want it to be something unique. So I've got a whole new idea, and I'll share it to y'all soon. I'm going to actually start working on it after I draw all the buildings and everything. So tomorrow I'm going to spend... What the hell is that? What? I have an oil stain? Where did that come from? What? Oh, I'm so mad right now. There's no way I have an oil stain on my freaking drawing. I protected this thing for days now. Like, it's ridiculous. Okay, oh man. Oh man, I'm so mad. My drawing just got jacked. Okay, well, the benefit is that this area will now become... This is the, okay, this, I'm going to show you a secret. This is what I do, and I'm sure you guys do the same thing. You draw around the image. They mean the stain. Look at that. Can't even notice it no more. Bada boom, bada bang, baby. Boom, 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 boom. Okay. All right. I'm so mad about that. I don't think you would get canceled by using gods with your own work. My picture should be the next for the concept of anti-religion. And here I am watching. You're not trying to... Weird Al? Weird Al Yankovic? Who doesn't know Weird Al Yankovic, John? Yuko, I totally get... Oh, thank you. I would love to see your stuff. Like, I'm always against, like, even when I was growing up, like, I got kicked out of church. I used to get spanked in church, and when I was, like, 7 or... I mean, well, that's when I remember it most, but I think it was, like, 5 all the way till, like, 14. I would get beaten in church because I would be drawing... comic book characters, and my church was super against like demonic things, so they thought comic books were demonic. So I would be taken out back and spanked and like whipped. This is old school though. You gotta remember the 80s were different and the 90s were different. So don't think this is like super abusiveness. This is like just normality of like religious lifestyle. Plus my father was the worship pastor, so it was kind of like obliged that I'd be disciplined in this way. And I remember just always having this urge to like want to draw anti-religious things, you know what I mean? So I love people when they want to do stuff against it. So I would always draw demons. I love demons. They're the coolest looking people. Yeah, religious dogma times. They're all a bunch of bullcrap. Whatever. You could do it like he does his music. Was it checking on the dog and coming back? Yeah. Huh? Oh, okay. Like it. Oh, yeah. I see what you're saying by Weird Al Yankovic. Yeah. Beat it, but eat it. I love Weird Al. You know what my favorite lines of Weird Al was? He does Gangster's Paradise. He does Amish Paradise. And he goes, I'll go medieval on your hiney. I'm sorry, guys. You gotta watch Amish Paradise by Weird Al Yankovic. It's so funny. It's ridiculous because he's, like if you know Gangster's Paradise, it's Coolio and stuff. But then like he's just one scene. He's like, I'll go medieval on your hiney. It's just so stupid. I'm sorry. Okay. Well, John, I'm glad I grew up where I grew up because without the hardships of religious hardship and all the craziness, I don't think I'd be the person I am today. So I'm thankful either way around it. I just don't want other people. I don't want my kids to grow up in this kind of way. I don't want other people to feel hurt. I know a lot of people are not as strong and understanding of these situations, and I want to help them with all my heart and passion. So I want to try my best to build a community of people who help each other out. So that's what my goal is. You were disabled, John? Like mentally or physically or what? Were you in a wheelchair? Like, did you only have two arms and then you got bionicle arms, biotech arms to create? So now you can crush like any kind of material ever? Like, are you a superhero? What are you? Are you like Cyborg from DC Comics? You gotta let me know. Okay, so we got the bottom part here going. I need the street a little bit better, so I gotta draw some gutters. Okay, good. Got the gutters. The one white and nerdy? What's the one white and nerdy? What is that? This episode is like totally not about perspective whatsoever. It's all about religious hate or something. How funny. But I'm glad you guys are cool with talking about it because, like, you know what I mean? Like, it's nice that we have a community where we can just chat about literally anything and not have to be afraid of like people judging us on this nonsense and stuff. Like, it's comforting. It's really nice. Okay, I jacked that up. I don't know what happened here. Okay, so we have a gutter. Now we have to fill the street with a whole bunch of stuff. I put these lines here on the side so I can put other buildings. Okay, what did I miss? Okay, yeah, I keep looking back when I was there. Disciplined. Personal space. Thank you, Yuko. I appreciate it. I appreciate that. Personal perspective. That's right. You have seizures, John. Well, can I ask when you have seizures, like what kind of seizures you have? I mean, what kind of have seizures? What sparks the seizures? Because, like my nephew, he has, he's mentally disabled, but he has these seizure things. And I grew up with a lot of friends in high school who are disabled and also had seizures a lot. Actually, no, in high school, elementary school. Freaking literally every friend throughout every year would have these seizure issues. And they're terrifying because, man, they're terrifying because you don't know what's going to happen. And it's just a shocking random event. It's like, whew, it's rough stuff. Yeah, I'll look it up. But yeah, I've been blessed by not ever having seizures, but one of my best friends when I was growing up, Antonio, Argentinian boy, he would have seizures randomly when we were having fun playing. And it would be like we're playing and nothing, everything's normal. All of a sudden, he'd freeze. He would literally freeze, drop to the ground, and just convulse and like be staring straight at me, like looking with his eyes into my eyes. I'm like, what the hell is happening? kind of stuff. And, you know, it's a very sad thing if you have seizures, but I hope that technology can fix that. I'm hoping freaking Elon Musk can fix that with that little machine that he created, you know? There's got to be a way to do it, you know? Got to have hope somewhere. So right now I'm just drawing these little square tops, and these are kind of, I'm getting smaller as I go, kind of bending the shapes a little bit, kind of showing depth. They get bigger, as you can see here. This is a bigger square, and then I'll do another one here. This is just the build perspective going out further. But what I do when I build these little squares, I can just drop down, do little cubes. You want to just do rectangles. When you do vehicles, it's better to do rectangles. The reason why is because within that rectangle, you can build the car and the vehicle, right? Which I'm going to show you how to do real quick. So let's say there's another vehicle here. Got this cube here. Let's say we'll just do that. That's like a little rectangle. If I want to build it out, I just put the rest of the car into it because I don't have to draw the front really. I don't have to draw the wheels. You could do the wheels if you want to do if it's that kind of vehicle, but this one's kind of like a tuk-tuk style thing. Let's see, where's my eraser? No, my eraser went too, but okay. Cool. Fantastic. Great job, Josh. Yeah. Yeah, I heard that, like, yeah, when you go in a seizure, your muscles tense up, right? So, like, grabbing onto something helps, like, fixture yourself to something. Ava's Demon, Yuko. Interesting. I've never heard of that. Is that a good comic? Oh, yeah. Which if I... Darn it. Well, thank God I have thousands of erasers. Look, I just found another one. I literally keep eraser near me all the time. I have one here and here. I'm just looking for a specific one that I thought I brought into the room, which I didn't. I haven't read it though. As for John, hey man, I hope that I hope that seizure thing goes away. I really do. And I'll pray about it, I think prayer works. You guys might believe this, but there was a moment in my life that even within my discredit of the church and stuff, when I was a young, like I was like 14 years old. I was in ninth grade. And I had spinal meningitis. And the doctors told me I had 2 weeks to live because it was like late in the game and stuff. And they had done so many CAT scans, spinal taps, and all this kind of crap on me. And I didn't even actually pray. I mean, I did pray a little bit, but it was actually the church that prayed for me. And the next day, the doctor came in and did tests and stuff. And I had a cyst. I had a small cyst that was growing really fast in my brain. And if it touched my brain, it would render me retarded pretty much, like instantly, like disabled. And overnight, we took new tests, and then both the cyst and the spinal meningitis disappeared. And I was able to move the next day. Because when you have spinal meningitis, you can't really move your torso. At least I couldn't. Yeah. And so then you would think that's like a miracle, right? And like, I consider it a miracle. But then you're like, oh, is that Jesus? Is that the Christian God? Is that the kind of stuff? All that stuff went through my mind. And the way I see it is this, is that prayer through any religion, all religions usually have prayer. And the reason why we have prayer is because I think there's a deep connection between all humans on this planet, right? I think the planet itself is a connective conduit of the human energy and resource. And I think prayer has some kind of power. Don't know how it works, but it's the one moment in my life I go, what the hell? How is this even possible? You know what I mean? And I was very thankful. So, anywho, all that to say is that I'll be praying for you, my friend. Not to say that it works or anything, because I don't know how it works, but I know it worked for me at one point in my life. So, yeah, does medication help you, John? Oh, I see. Stress, yeah. Yeah, I'll check out that Ava's Demon too. Webcomics sound great. I tried doing my own, but I failed because there's too much stress on doing it. Okay, let's go up here to the far back because I've already got this kind of situated. I need to put some more cars and stuff and people here. But up here, I want to show like I've condensed some of the stuff, and I want to put like little things that kind of separate the buildings. It's not easy. Let's see. The thing about India is that what I'm learning is that their buildings are all over the place. I really don't know the sizing of any of these buildings really because they're just like wacky to me. But they're fun to draw because you can literally add content to it and nobody's going to care because India has so much diversity to it. Kind of like Asian countries, like you can just literally add anything to them and there's going to be fine. Okay. Got a few percents left on my battery. So we're going to continue here. Just having fun here with my buildings. I'm not really paying attention to perspective too much. Obviously that is not good. It did not match. So I can't go at an angle this direction while the horizontal line is there. Bad idea. It's me drawing at a weird angle. So keep it flush, keep it good. You'll be all right. I'm excited to see your comic book content. How you guys create the cowboy and everybody. I think we're going to have something fun with it. I want to kind of get what I'm going to do is actually I'm going to finish penciling this whole thing in. I'm going to do a photo shoot for it, right? And then I'm going to start on the comic book. drawing it because I think I've already recreated the story in my mind for the new comic book, so I don't have to really write it. I'm gonna start detailing it out. Start drawing out some rough sketches, and then I'm gonna go in to start detailing it later. But I still should be able to finish the inking process. I'm actually not gonna do the penciling process. The penciling is gonna be just for like the rough sketch on like just like this right here. And then after that, I'm gonna literally go straight into inking to bypass the penciling process because I don't want to overwork it. And plus, my style this time is gonna be very simple. It's not gonna be like this. It's gonna be very like cartoony, I guess you'd say. So I think it's gonna be fun. We'll see how it goes. I don't know if I'm gonna do color or not. I might do color, but if I'm gonna do color, I'm gonna do watercolor or gouache. But we'll see. We'll see. I don't know. I'm debating right now. But by the end of this month, we should have our 3 to 5 pages of this comic strip, and then I'm gonna combine it into a beautiful PDF book, and then we'll see what we can do from there. I think it'd be fun. Okay, so I got the city here in the backdrop. We got some problem is my wrist always takes off this pencil. Sucks. So my wife and I have been thinking about, like funeral stuff, like what happens when we die, like how do we want to be buried? Do we want to be cremated and stuff? And not because we think we're going to die or anything, but because a lot of our family members have passed, and we're just thinking about the process of it. But then, like, I've been thinking about this for a while, actually. When I die, I want this to happen. I don't want to be buried in a box. I don't want to be in a coffin. I want to be buried 6 feet under the ground or 7 feet under the ground, headlong, straight down with my feet pointing downwards. And I want to show you real quick because I think this is... Oh, hey, I have a tree on my freaking paper. Look at that. Brilliant. Oh, my gosh. Look at destiny. That's what it is. So, okay, I have a tree. I want to be buried right here, right? Just like that. Down below, where the roots can come and down and like absorb my nutrients from my body. Because you know what I was thinking? I was like, okay, I study religion, and I study... Oh, Yuko, you're going to get a new PC this week. Way to go. What are you going to get? What kind of PC? What's going to have? Is it like a 390 RTX, or is it like, what kind of graphics card are you going to get? What kind of Intel processor you're going to get? I would love to know. I'm trying to sell my PC. I think that's why. But I was thinking, what if there was a new way of dying? And the reason why I say that is because death is the most fearful thing that all humans go through, right? And we've done all these ritual things like putting ourselves in coffins, cremating ourselves, and blah, 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 blah. And none of those things seems to be beneficial to any kind of logic outside of religious reasons, right? And I was thinking, what if there was a way that I could live forever? What if Josh wanted to live forever? What would it look like? What would it take biologically? You know what I mean? So what if, hear me out here. What if I had an entire field, right? A huge field. When people died, we buried them without their clothes, without embalming, but just natural physical form. We buried them straight into the ground, 7 feet under or 6 feet under, or whatever depth we can get them with pure soil, right? Really good soil, cover it up, but plant a tree on top of them, like a young tree. Like let's say, however old they are when they die. Let's say a 50-year-old tree. I don't care. Whatever. Maybe that's the cool thing. Well, like let's say someone dies at like 12, you get a 12-year-old tree, whatever, and you bury them closer to the soil, like up here somewhere. But dependent, very scientific, right? So that the roots will take hold of the human body and utilize the nutrients of nitrogen and the carbon being produced from the bones and the hair and the blood and all that stuff being deteriorated. But also the worms and the insects could feed off of your body to help produce the tree, right? And then the tree grows. But then our cells and our minds and our essence of our human existence are portrayed are absorbed into the tree. So when people come from the funeral, they don't have to go to a stupid stone sticking in the freaking ground that just can be moved around wherever, but they can go to a tree that they know that the nutrients of that tree's growth is built off of the human cells of our death. Do you know what I mean? Like, I would rather go to an old oak tree where my grandfather had died hundreds of years ago, 100 years ago, and say and just, I don't know, I feel like that's more monumental because you're taking care of a living entity, which is a tree, while it being absorbed and grown from the human body. There is a tree funeral already? Don't tell me there's already a tree funeral. Don't even say it. I thought this was unique to my own thought. Yuko. I thought I had $1 million idea on my head. Dude, I'm so sad if someone stole my idea. I thought that was unique. Oh, man. I'm very sad now because I thought that was like $1 million idea I can make money off of. Funerals. Oh, man. Darn it. But if it was a popular thing that we had trees as our, headstones, that'd be so much better. Darn it. Costco got it? That's even worse. They probably don't do it the way I would do it, though. I would do it better. Your younger brother Josh, you're cool with? Well, because Joshes are dope. John, get it together. We're just the best, no matter if he's younger or older. Well, that's not true. Your older brother's dick. Yeah, but you know what? Older brothers are meant to be dicks. It's kind of their job. It's not even like they're like I don't even think they want to. I think it's just like their job. They're like manufactured to be dicks. Truth. I think so. I know a lot of older brothers, and they are all jerks. Don't know why. It seems that way. Well, that's good, John. It's good that you have a younger brother that's very, encouraging. You know what I mean? Like, that's good. Okay, so we've done a little bit of perspective, mainly just talked about religion and some pissed off moments of our life. But it's all fun. I really appreciate all of you guys because this is what makes our live stream kind of fun. You know what I mean? Like we don't have to stick to a one like subject, just art. Which art is fine. It's really fun. But then like sometimes it's fun to explore like what we're feeling throughout the day, like what our angers are, what our issues are. It's like, you know. And that's what I want. I want artists to come and be artists, you know? We're all artists. John, Yuko, Frazzy, Krusty, TF, even Daniel, who left right away. But everybody. I just hope it's fun for you guys. I hope... yeah, Yuko, you give a good question. Did you have a conversation about the stress he gives you? That's an important one. Did you actually have the conversation? Did you actually talk about it? Because that could be very important. A lot of people don't know. You know, even your brother probably doesn't know what he does, you know? Is it cool in any way? Is it? Well, I'm sorry to end it here because I want to know more of the information. But John, if you're in our Discord, you know, you can always message us and talk and chat about this stuff too. But I need to end this for the live stream because all of you guys who are watching, I do appreciate it. And I can't wait to hear about the updates on your all's lives and the new PC and some of the stories that you guys have and your drawings. But I have to end it because it's been 2 hours and something minutes, and that's rough. It's rough. And I didn't even get that much accomplished, which is kind of sad because we were just chatting about all kinds of crazy stuff. But tomorrow I'm going to work on this when I have free time and hopefully get to the point where I can finish the bottom part and then have the top part ready, kind of to draw some other stuff. And then tomorrow's... What is tomorrow, guys? Tomorrow's Thursday. So yeah, I'll finish this penciling tomorrow. And then by Friday, we'll start the inking, which is going to be super fun because I think the inking is going to go a lot faster. And I know what I'm doing. And we're doing Bernie Wrightson style, so it's going to be great. Anyways, yeah, hey guys, if you're a creative, please go create. Thank you for watching. If you haven't already, please like and subscribe to the channel. You can find me on patreon.com/Shintology just for free signups and get extra updates, extra stuff, content on my work. I post different stuff on there than I do everywhere else. As well as my Instagram, exo.chocolam, or Inkcologist, wherever you want to find me on, search me on or whatever. But yeah, this is Spider-Man, Indian Spider-Man versus Batman. He's in Old City, Mumbai. I appreciate you all. And yeah, hey, have a great night, have a great day, have a great morning, have a great evening. I don't know what time it is where you're at, but look, drawing is fun. It is helpful for the mind, the soul, the spirit, and everywhere that it can be. Wasaba. You know what I mean? But I appreciate you guys being on here. And let's continue chatting on Discord. You can find the link, of course, if you're new, on my information. Discord is free, is absolutely free. It's a little bit daunting at first, but don't worry. It gets very easy, very quick. But Discord is great, John. So if you're on, just download the app, join Discord, just have trust it, and it'll lead you to where we're at, and we'll all help you from there. But it's pretty much just a chat program. That's all it is. And you can share photos and your thoughts, and it's great. So anyways, everyone, I appreciate y'all. I really do. You know that I do. And I thank you guys for listening and being partaking as an artist. And let's create some art and let's do some fun stuff. And if you need help, join the Discord. I'll talk to you guys tomorrow. And hasta luego. Hasta mañana. Buenas noches. Okay. Peace out, guys. Whew. Rough night, huh?